Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start a new series of videos where I'm going to go through some of the basic bash commands for beginners basically. So this video will be part one. I'm not sure how many parts I'll have, but obviously it's going to be more than one or two. We'll see how well these videos do, and if people show interest, then I'll continue to create them. So as mentioned, I'm going to start with, what I believe are basic bash commands that everyone should know if you start using bash within Linux. So I've come up with a list that I feel or I believe are, essential for beginners. The touch command, the mkdir command, the cd command, cp command, the rm command, the cat command, and mv command. So the touch command creates an empty file if it doesn't exist already. If the file is already present, what it does is updates the timestamp on a file. The mkdir command creates an empty directory. You can also use it to create multiple directories. Then you have the cd command, which is change directory. The cp command, you can copy files and directories. The rm command, you delete, remove files, or delete, remove directories. You can remove one or multiple at a time. The cat command, in simple terms, you read a file to standard output. There's other options that you can use cat for, but to keep it simple, for this video, we'll just use it as to capture or to read a file and print it out to standard output. And then you have the mv command, which you can use to move a file or rename a file and directories. So let's go ahead and show some examples. So for the touch command, you can use touch file name, which I stated before will create a file if it doesn't exist. If it does, it updates the access time. You can also use the touch command to create multiple files. In this example, I'm using touch space file, then squarely brackets 1 through 5. So what's that going to do? That's going to create file 1, file 2, file 3, 4, and 5, and so on. For the mkdir directory, some of the examples that you can use it for is mkdir with the dir name directory name, which creates a directory. You can create multiple directories as well using the mkdir, dir name 1, dir name 2, or 3, or obviously any directory name. I'm just using these as an example. So you can be my directory 1, or development name, or temporary directory name. It can be anything you want. You can use the flag -p to create a path if the full path doesn't exist. So let's say you want to create a directory in /etc/http/config. You're not sure if http/config are already created present within etc. So what you do, you run the mkdir-p and then the full path of the directory you want to create. So if the parent directories are not present, it'll create them for you. So the cd command, this is very essential, stands for change the directory. Some of the examples you can use it for is cd space $home, or cd and this squiggly symbol. I'm not sure what you call that. So basically that's going to change directory from wherever you are within your path to your home directory. Then also you can do cd space hyphen or dash, and it will change directory to your last working directory. You can also do cd ... which will go up one directory from your current location. So if you are in etc/http/config and you do cd ... you'll go up to etc/http. You can also do cd space ... which just like the previous command, but this time it will go up two directories, and you can do multiple redirections. So you can do, so let's say you are in Etsy http config and you want to go to etc http/temp for some reason. So you can do cd space dot dot slash temp. So that will go up one directory. It will move you to the temp directory. But I'll show you more in details when I'm actually when we're doing going through these commands on the command line. And last option, well, not last option, but last example that I'm gonna go over is the cd space /, which that's gonna change the directory to the root directory. So the cp, the copy command, so you can do cp space file name 1 space file name 2. It creates a copy of the file name 1 in the same working directory, and it will create as a file name 2. Both files will have the same content. You can also use the cp command to copy a file to a different location. So in this example, we'll do cp space file name 1 / tmp file name 1. So it creates a copy of file name 1 in a different directory. And we can do the same thing, but use copy the file to a different directory and give it a different name. Also, you can do you can use a flag. So you can do not a flag. I'm sorry. You can use a glove option. So you can do cp star.txt space /tmp. So what this does in your current directory, will look for any file with any pattern, any string pattern that ends with .txt, and it's going to copy it over to the temp directory. Same thing, you can do the same thing with for directories. You can do cp space -r, the directory name, and then the destination path. Then we have the rm command, which is used to delete files and directories. You can do rm file name, which deletes the file. Rname file name 1 space file name 2 deletes multiple files. You can do rm space -i, which will prompt you for confirmation. That should be a lowercase I. Auto correction, I guess, put an uppercase I. So again, rm space -lowercase I in the file name is going to force. Well, it's not going to force it, but it's going to prompt you to make sure that you want to delete that file. In contrast, if you do rm-f in the file name, it's going to force the deletion of the file without prompting you. So you're just going to delete it. It doesn't care what it is, and it won't prompt you to make sure that you're sure that you want to delete that file. Same thing for directories. You want to do rm space -r and the directory name. And for some reason, I've seen people create files that start with a dash or hyphen. And if you try to delete a file like that, which is just running rm in the file name, you'll have issues. You won't be able to do it. For that, you want to do rm space -- and then the file name, and that should get rid of it. And then we have the cat command. Again, it reads a file to standard output. You can read multiple files at once to standard output. You can also read large files, and then if you pipe it to less to use as a pager, it will pause. It will give you one page, then another page, then another page. I'll show you that when I'm going through it from the command line. And last but not least, the mv command. So you can rename a file, mv, old file name, new file name. You can use it to move a file. So mv file name, you want to move it to temporary. It moves the file, so that file will no longer be present on your current directory. You can also move the file and rename the file by using the command mv file name, the path where you want it. In this example, I'm using /tmp, and then a new file name. And same thing, just like we did before, you can use the star. So you can do mv star.txt, and you can move it to /temp or any other path you want, and it's going to move every file that ends with a .txt extension to whatever path you give it to. You can also use mv to rename a directory. So we'll do mv space directory name, and then the new directory name that you want to use. All right, so enough about that. Let's go ahead and get to the command prompt. I just want to, let's see here. So let's go back to the command prompt and let's go over these examples one by one. So let's start with the touch command. So as you can see, I don't have any files created in here. The first example we talked about was touch file 1. So that creates one empty file. And then we say we can create multiple files, so we can do touch file 2, file 3. So that created file 2 and 3 at once. Okay. We can also do touch file. So now let's do 4 through 7. And that should create file 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, there we go. So we can also do a bash script, which is obviously is out of it's out of the scope of this video. But let me just show you real quick by what I mean by that. So let's do create files. So don't worry about any of these for now. So we'll do 4 file in, let's say 8 through 15. Okay. Do touch file. Okay. Done. Then we gotta make this executable. And then we run it. So now we see those files. So we created 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's just an example of how, you know, we can use a bash script to automate stuff, to create different things. Just wanted to show you that real quick. I mean, that's out of the scope of this video, but that's just something, you know, to keep in mind. Okay, so that's some of the things we can do with touch. So let's create directories. So again, the example says to do mkdir dir 1, right? So there we go. So we can see that it's a directory. It starts with a D over here. That's a D, and obviously the color is different. You can see that it's a directory. So we can do the same thing. We can create multiple directories. So directory 2 and directory 3. So we see those are present now, right? And we can do mkdir-p temp penguin dir 4. So that should have created the directory tech penguin, because I know that wasn't in there. But so if I change the directory to here and I list that, I see that the directory was created. So let me go back to my working directory. So right now I'm in tech and tmp tech penguin, but I want to go back to where I was before. I know this is one of the commands I'm going to be going over. So cd space dash, that takes me back to my last working directory. Okay, so that was mkdir, so cd, and I just went through one of those examples. But right now, so this is my current working directory, home tech penguin bash tutorial 1. So if I want to go back to my home directory, I can do cd space home, and now I'm in /home tech penguin, right? Let's go back to where I was before. So I can also do cd space that, and that takes me back to my home directory, right? So I want to go, so as you can see, I'm located in home tech penguin bash tutorial 1. So if I want to move up one directory, I'll do cd space dot dot, and now I'm in home directory, home/tech penguin, right? If I want to go back two directories, I do cd dot dot slash dot dot. Where do you think that's going to take me? So that should put me under /home. Yep, and as you can see, I'm in /home. Let's go back to my last directory. And last example that I went over was cd slash, and that puts me to, you know, the root directory. Okay, so that's the cd command. So the copy command, right? Let's see. So we want to copy. Let's do copy file 1 to new file. So file 1 is there, a new file is there. So it creates an exact copy of what file 1 is onto file 1 2. So actually, let's do this real quick. Let's remove that, and I don't think there's anything in file 1. No, it's empty. So let's go ahead and add some data. Hello world. You know, that's what everybody puts in. So don't worry about what I'm doing right now. Again, that's out of the scope of this video. But basically what I'm doing is I'm writing into file 1 hello world. So we can view that. Okay. So now if we do copy file 1 to new file, right? And then if we do cat new file, we see that it copied exactly everything that was within file 1. Okay. Same thing we can do. We can copy file 1 onto a different directory, right? And then we can, if we want to double check that everything that within file 1 was copied over, so we can copy that file from there. We can use a full path, and as we can see, it did. When we run cat, we see hello world. Let's see. So now we want to copy a directory. So as you copy directory 3, and let's copy that over to temp tech penguin, right? Sorry, that should have been a P. Immediate directory -R. There we go. So now if we do a long list on temp tech penguin, we see the directory 3 is there. And as you can see, it keeps the permissions from the user that created and the group that owns it. So after the copy, so we want to do the rm command. Okay, so actually let's do it from temp. So we can do rm file 1, right? So that removes it. Now I only have the directories. To remove a directory, we want to do rm-r directory 3. That got rid of that. So let's make another directory. dir5 5 and directory 6. So then now we have 6 directories. So if we want to get rid of all of them, so we can do rm-r star everything. So that basically say, okay, go ahead and remove every directory from this current location. And they're gone. And let's go ahead and create a file that starts with a hyphen. Test. Invalid format, but it's still, no, it doesn't create. Okay, so I guess that's been removed. Because before, for some reason, there's certain files that get created with a dash at the beginning of the file name. But if that happens, again, the option to remove it would have been this option right here, rm space dash space dash test. Okay, so let's go back to where I was. We want to do cat command, which we sort of did already. So we did cat file 1. We can do multiple files, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So we do file 1, and then we'll do new file. They both have the same content, but you see how it will be harder for you. So if there's a lot of data on both files, and you want to know when one file ends and where the other one starts, doing it this way is kind of difficult because you can't really see what's going on. There's multiple ways of doing this, but you can use a process substitution. So we can do, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's cat file 1, and then we do redirect echo new file. There we go. So let's think about, let's say file 1 had 100 lines of code or of data, and then new file had multiple lines of data as well, and you wanted to tell, okay, where does one end and where does the other one begin. So you can use this command to do so. Another option, so let's show, so if we want to output a large file, we can use, we can pipe it to less, which is a pager option. So one option is, I know there's a large file in Linux, well at least in Red Hat, that has multiple words. So if we try to view this, you see how it went through, we can't see where it starts and where it ends. But then if we use a pipe and we pipe it to less, which is a pager, so now it gives a one page at a time. And it basically works like VI, or Vim editor, with the same options. You can do uppercase G to go to the end. You can use GG to go to the beginning. You can search. What am I searching for? Is there anything named Linda? Yep. So there's a word that starts with Linda. You can press N for the next word, that has those letters in it. You can hit Q to escape. So that's one option on how to view or read large files using cat. So renaming MV. The MV command. So let's say we have new file, but we want to name this old file. So we use the MV command. So that renames it. So the new file is completely gone, but I renamed it to old file. Let's view the content. So the content is still there. It doesn't do anything with the data inside the file. It just renames it, right? I can move the file with the MV command as well, and that's going to remove it from my current directory. So if I do this and move it over to temp, now I see that it's no longer here. It's over at temp tech penguin, right? So it's right there. So let's go ahead and move it back. Wait, hold on. Where am I? PWD. Okay, I'm already there. So we want to MV here. And we want to put it under bash tutorial. Okay. And let's move back there. And there it is. So I'm not sure if you noticed, I did auto completion by doing tab twice. That's another option you can say. Let's try that. So if we do MV, so I'll type in the first two letters of the file. If I do tab, it auto completes the file name. Obviously, because that's the only option, the only file with that starts with the OL. So if I try to do it with file, it'll auto tab, and then it'll give me the options for everything else that ends, that has more characters after that. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I think, so we went through the MV command to move or rename a file. We went over the cat command, which is basically read from a file. For now, I mean, there's more options, but I'm just going to keep it as read from a file to standard output. We have the RM command, which is to remove, delete a file or directory, or multiple files and multiple directories. We have the CP command to copy files, the CD command to change directories, the mkdir command to make directories, and the touch command to create empty files or update the timestamp on a file. You can also always look at the man page for each of these commands to find more options and how to use them. So these are the options you have for the touch command. We can also do man CP for the copy command. These are the main pages are always very useful if you don't remember how to use the command, or if you want to find out what options are available with them. MV. And again, this is just a tutorial for beginners that are trying to learn or starting to get exposed to Bash. Bash is very powerful. There's a lot you can do with it. There's a lot of scripting you can do with it. But it's always good to learn the basics. So I feel these are some of the very basic commands that anyone that wants to start using Bash should be able to know and learn and know most of the options, or be sure how to use them in order to then move on to more complex commands, or like I said, scripts. So if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.